All right, another episode of the official 90s Babies podcast. It's me, Quay Morgan Hill.
And I'm Kevy the Dreamer.
Oh my God, it's an annoying fly in here somewhere, Kevy. I'm gonna have to kill it, so don't
He
mind me
better
if I'm over here killing fly.
he better be a 90s fan is all I know.
Period. So I feel like today's show is gonna be real dope because we're talking about favorite 90s characters. Now, last time you told
Yes.
me this, Kevy, I was really thinking hard, like, damn, who is from the 90s? Now, on my list, I have some that's not from the 90s, so I hope that's okay. But the reruns, like, it had reruns in the 90s. Is that cool?
Right. Right.
But let's get right into it, Kevy. So, how you feeling today?
You know what? Today's been a day, but I got my wine with me,
Hey,
sitting here hitting my mic.
I know that's right.
How are you, my love?
It has been a day already, but we're getting through it. And now that I'm talking to you, it's much better.
It's gonna get so much better because we are talking 90s favorite characters and beyond. I'm excited to hear who some of yours are and to share some of mine. Whenever this topic came up, I was doodling, making a list, and I have like 17 plus. So we
What?
gonna get into this.
Oh my gosh. I only have, hold on, let me see. Let me pull it up. So I have 10.
That's
I have 10.
okay.
That's
That's
cool.
okay.
Okay.
That's okay. Let's hear your first one, Quay. Who is your ultimate favorite 90s character?
It has to be Tommy Pickles. Hands down,
Of
Tommy
course,
Pickles.
of course. It has to be Tommy Pickles. Tommy
Yes.
Pickles is the OG.
Period.
Tommy
Period.
Pickles is bravery. He inspires us all to be brave and to live your best life and to not be afraid. So, hands down, of course, we have to say somebody from Rugrats.
Oh yeah, for sure. Tommy was epic. I loved, like you said, his confidence. I loved that he had influence over the other babies. And at that age, when I was watching Rugrats, I was lacking certain things, and that was it. And I was like, wow, he's really confident. I was more like a Chucky.
Right.
I wanted to be like Tommy.
Yes, yes. And
So,
he was
yeah,
he was so he was so supportive. He was
absolutely.
so loyal. He was a good friend to have.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Tommy was dope, even though he was a baby. He understood like certain rules.
He was knowing. He was born knowing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then for me, also Susie.
I was about to say, if we say Rugrats, we have to say Susie Carmichael.
Hmm.
Susie is Black Girl Magic. She was not putting up with none of Angelica Pickle's shit. She let her know, I'm not the one. So definitely shout out to Susie Carmichael.
Absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, her parents were successful too, right? Her mom was a
Absolutely.
veterinarian,
Absolutely. Her
um,
her mom was a doctor and
or a
her
doctor. Yeah.
father, she might have been a veterinarian, but still a doctor. And her father was a executive producer, something he like created or owned Dummy Bears, something like that. Very successful Black goals.
Period. Period. That's great representation of a black family.
Yes. Yes. And I love the voice actor of Susie Carmichael. I love, love, love. Gosh, I just forgot her name that quick. Cree Summer. I love her.
Creasa. Oh yes, she actually did a lot
Yes.
of voices for
Yes,
Nickelodeon.
she
She's
is a
dope.
legend. She
Mhm.
is legendary.
Absolutely. So though that's my all-time favorite right there. Those two. That's number
I
one
gotta
for me.
I gotta say my all-time favorite, of course, is Doug. It's always gonna be Doug.
I knew it.
Doug,
I knew it.
Doug for me is just the homie. Doug is just he was such a good person and he was so relatable for me. I live with anxiety, I still do. And very creative, very imaginative. And Doug was just it for me. I just love Doug. There's just something so safe about him. And I'd have to say that my number two, if I had to choose, because you gave two as well, I would have to say probably Sonic the Hedgehog. I love Sonic. There's something about those video games for me. I don't know if you remember the classic cartoon from we were probably like 2 and 3. Um, but like the original cartoon, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, there's actually a few classic Sonic cartoons, but Sonic was actually voiced by Jaleel White, who played um Steve Urkel. So
Right.
I always thought that was so cool. And there's just something about Sonic for me. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just the comfort of those games for me growing up. So those are my top two.
Okay. Hey, I've been sleeping on Sonic. I think
It's
the last,
okay.
no, actually the first Sonic movie, I want to say was a couple years ago.
Hmm.
That was like the first and the last Sonic movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's getting bigger. I think he always was his fierce competition was Mario, of course, Nintendo. And Mario has just been very successful and just Sonic at one time was Mario, and then Mario kind of took over. But Sonic, it's for me, is just lit. I just love Sonic.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I've been sleeping on Sonic. I'm gonna have to do my research because I did play the video game.
Yes, the
And
video
play
games were
Sonic.
everything. So much fun. I love them.
Yeah. Sonic and Donkey Kong. That was my shit.
Donkey Kong's a good one.
Yep.
Do you remember Donkey Kong 64? Do you remember that game?
Yes, that's what I had it on.
I
And
love
speaking
that
of
game.
Nintendo 64, okay, so I know this isn't from the 90s, but do you remember Speedy Gonzalez? He
Of
had a video
course.
game, and okay, so he was epic to me back in the 90s. I love Speedy.
I love
Everything
Looney
Speedy.
Tunes. Yes, Looney Tunes as a whole are just everything. I love Looney Tunes. Speedy's a good one. For
Yeah.
me, if we're gonna say Looney Tunes, I'm always gonna have to say Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny is the GOAT. I love him.
Nobody
He's
tops
crazy.
Bugs. Yeah,
He's the best to me.
absolutely. Him and Lola, they were dope.
Yes, yes. The original Lola. I don't like the reboot Lola where she's kind of dumbed down. I like the original fierce, sexy, badass Lola. This new Lola that's like dumb and she's funny, but she's not the same to me.
Little dingy.
Yeah.
Well, she's blonde.
Who are some of your other favorite characters? I have a whole list here. I'm ready.
Okay, so then my next one would have to be, of course, Rocket Power, Reggie. I loved
Yes.
Reggie. Love,
Reggie
love, love, love.
Reggie was a girl boss.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm all for it, as you can see. All for
Hey,
girl bosses
okay.
today.
Okay.
Yes, take a sip of wine.
Yes, honey. So
Jesus.
if we talking about girl bosses, for me, I gotta say Pepper Ann.
Mm.
You remember Pepper Ann? That's a
Yes.
throwback. That's a memory unlocked. I love Disney. I love Toon Disney and I love One Saturday Morning. So Pepper Ann was just goofy to me, just silly. And it actually recently was put back on Disney Plus, so I really want to revisit it. But I loved Pepper Ann. She was one of my favorite girl characters.
Okay, okay. I'm feeling Pepper Ann.
I
I'm
have to say
Pepper
some of my other favorite girl characters on that note. I gotta say Dot Warner from the Animaniacs. She was crazy.
Memory unlocked.
And then another one is Babs Bunny slash Buster Bunny from Tiny Toons. I love Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons is like one of my favorite shows ever. I love silly stuff, just, witty writing. And both of those shows, Tiny Toons and Animaniacs, were just hilarious, crazy as hell.
AX was dope.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yep. Wow. Wow. Ooh, good times, man.
Listen,
We definitely got to revisit a lot of these shows, man. Oh man.
absolutely.
I'm gonna have to say another one for me is As Told by Ginger.
Oh, okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
love It's Told by Ginger. That one was a very dear show to me. I love that show. I love the theme song. The theme song
Yes.
is everything.
Yes. I loved it simply because it was girl power for sure. It
Yes.
was
Yes.
everything girly. So I love that. I love that.
Listen, my gay ass loved it. I loved It's Told by Ginger.
Ah!
Remember the black character out there? She was such a bitch. She was so mean. But she was the boss though. Like I loved her, but she was straight up hating on Ginger.
Yeah.
Ginger had her shook.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ginger actually knew who she was, even though it seemed like she was having an identity crisis and she was going
Yes.
through so much. She still like had confidence, which is crazy. I mean,
Yes.
that show is just, oh my God, it's so relatable.
Yes. I wonder whatever happened to the creator. I would love to pick her brain. Shout out to her. I forget her name. I
Yeah.
think it's Emily something, I think, if I'm not
We get a
mistaken.
reboot one time. Just
Okay, let's get a
uh,
reboot. Come on.
yes, yes. So the next one for me is gonna have to be Brace Face. Do you remember
Okay,
that
brace
show?
face. Okay,
I
I
like
remember it.
complicated boyfriend.
Oh, okay. I remember it. I didn't really see it, but I definitely know who she is. So that's a vibe. That was what? That was Fox Family, if I'm not mistaken.
I
I
want.
can't remember.
I don't remember the channel. I
Yeah.
just remember what I was going through, and that's why I was watching it. So as a
Okay.
child, I had
Uh-huh.
an extra tooth,
Oh,
and it
okay.
was much smaller than my other teeth. So,
Mm,
and it was like a different shade, and just it was all fucked up. But I
mm.
had to wait until that tooth fell out for my adult tooth to come in. So it was like a
Okay.
baby tooth, little tooth, and then the adult tooth. So I used to watch Brace Face all the time because I thought I was going to have braces. But luckily, I didn't. Side effect, still got my teeth,
Okay.
heroin mouth, no crackhead mouth, nothing. God is good.
No
God
thought mouth.
okay, you feel me? You might see a little bit of coffee stains and stuff, but other than that, I am
we
good.
can we can work with that. We can work with that.
Okay, right. Okay.
I love it. On that note, I have to say, I got a few. I gotta say, I gotta start out with Sailor Moon.
Mm.
I'm actually rocking a Sailor Moon shirt. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, there we go. Now we can see it.
Yes. So this is the Sailor Starfighters from the final season of Sailor Moon. So I love Sailor Moon. I love Sailor Venus because she's orange. I love orange. There's no particular reason. There's no particular thought process with her character. Just she wears orange, so I love orange.
Mhm.
And then so Seiya, who is in the center of this shirt, he was pretty much their leader. So he was competition for Sailor Moon's boy toy. And I was like, girl, you better get you some of Seiya. Seiya's a treat, honey. So
Ooh.
I was rooting for Seiya. I'm probably on the unpopular opinion on that because everybody else was Usagi and Mamoru. But for me, I was like, nah, Seiya.
Okay. Wow, that's dope.
And you know Sailor Moon is girl power.
It
So
is.
that was
Absolutely.
a dope show.
Yeah.
I also gotta say Powerpuff Girls. And I'm curious to hear who your favorite Powerpuff Girl is.
Oh my God. What's the green one?
Buttercup.
Buttercup. That's
Buttercup,
my
okay.
favorite.
Mine is the blue one, Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Yes.
And
I love
Blossom is the
Bubbles.
red one, right?
Yes, the
Okay.
leader. Yes, yes.
I'm definitely
Love
a Buttercup
it.
fan. She was badass.
Yes, okay. They all were badass. They didn't play.
Oh my God. I forgot all about Powerpuff Girls. Wow. Sugar
There
and
is a
Spice. And
there
then,
is a joke there is a joke from Powerpuff Girls that still cracks me up to this day. It's this guy that was in their class, you know, they're in kindergarten. So this guy like made Blossom like bump, like he accidentally bumped her and she like spilled something or something like that. And he was like, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. And she's like, you were a mistake. I was like
hard.
savage.
Right? Man. I'm going to have to watch that again. I
I
love
love it.
Powerpuff. Mojo Jojo. Like, that shit was epic.
He, him, and him was um the like the female-ish. I think he was like a drag character almost, the one that had like the crazy voice, and he was like the devil looking character. Those two were the best uh villains on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. I do remember that. Was he dragged now? Now you got me thinking like
To me,
this
he
whole
was.
time.
I don't know if he was supposed to be, but he definitely had like some that energy.
Yeah, but I didn't even catch on back. See, back then we didn't know nothing about sexuality.
Right. They slid stuff in and I don't think they would get away with that now. I mean, now it would be open because it's a whole new era, but back then they would slide little things in there and think that we didn't know. Like Animaniacs had all kinds of jokes. There's this one joke. There's this episode and they're spies, and this one character is like, "Give me the bird," and Dot's like, "We can't. This is a family show." And
What?
it's like, we didn't know what that meant as children.
Hell no. I was so naive.
Hollering. The writing on that show, a mess.
Clearly. Oh my gosh, I missed that. That's all I can say. Wow.
Who are some of your other favorites, Quay? We can keep going. There's so many people we could name.
Right? So this one is actually near and dear to my heart because I had the toy for like the longest time, and like I let it sleep in my bed. I used to cuddle with it, all types of shit.
Oh,
Binya Binya Pollywog.
oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, I didn't know that they had any merchandise. I wish I would have had one.
They did. Gullah Gullah
Oh,
Island was actually dope. They had books.
yes.
I want to say they had a cassette tape or something. They had some type of musical something out. I remember because I had it.
Mm.
They were dope.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, and Tweety Bird
Yes.
had a lot of Tweety Bird stuff too.
Yes, yes. For me, along the lines of like Binya Binya with like the merchandise, I have to say, not along the merchandise. I'll say more as like a puppet character, Cousin Skeeter.
Oh, for sure, hands down, hands
Yes,
down, for
yes,
sure. Cousin Skeeter was dope. And then, do you remember they had like a girl version of Cousin Skeeter that
yes,
appeared in the show?
yes,
Dope,
yes. I want to
dope.
revisit that because I don't remember like what her storyline was. I don't know if she was his love interest, or I think that she was like
I
he
think it
was
was a
supposed to be. I think he was supposed to be Robert Richard's cousin, and I think that she was like Megan Good's some maybe cousin. I don't know, but I remember there was a movie about it where I think they got lost in outer space, something crazy like that. Those were the days, man. Those
We
were the
definitely got to
days.
watch that together, Kevy, because
Oh,
I just did.
absolutely.
Well, it wasn't recently, but a while back, I did a YouTube video on Cousin Skeeter on the 80s,
Okay.
2000s network, of course,
Ooh, I'm gonna
and
have to
it
check
was
that
the
out.
death of Cousin Skeeter, the
Ooh,
unfortunate death.
okay. Mm.
Yeah. So y'all go
Ooh,
check that out and see what actually happened to Cousin Skeeter because it was unfortunate and untimely.
ooh.
It's
I'm gonna have to check that out myself because I don't know. So I want to check that out. No spoilers.
okay. I won't say nothing.
I have a memory unlocked for you.
Okay.
Do you remember Recess?
For sure. For sure.
Do you have a favorite character from Recess?
So it has to be okay. I'm not good with names, but it's the one guy. He was like the boss of the group. He had the hat with the black jacket.
TJ.
TJ.
TJ. Yes, yes. I'd have to say TJ. TJ was like a Tommy Pickles. He was the
Hmm.
leader. I loved all of them though. They all had great energy. They all were just very playful. I love that show. I miss that show so much. It's on Disney Plus as well. I haven't rewatched it yet, but I love that show. That's like a classic. That's like a comfort show for me. There was only one episode I couldn't watch. I'll never forget it. It was the Halloween episode, and it showed their teacher like as a skeleton, and I was like, hell no, I can't do this.
What?
I always skip that episode.
Oh my gosh. I don't remember that one. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so many shows that we're gonna have to revisit. It's gonna take
I
about
have a
at least
memory
a month.
unlocked for everybody out there as well. I feel like you probably won't remember this because he's very underrated. I actually have something to share with everybody. Does,
Okay.
does anybody remember this?
No.
Marsupilami.
Uh-uh.
Nobody knows who he is. He was so underrated. Okay. So Marsupilami is my homie. Marsupilami is he is a very underrated Disney cartoon. He's from 1992, I want to say. And do you remember Bonkers?
That sounds familiar.
So he was like a bobcat. He was like a very goofy, like almost along the lines of like Roger Rabbit. Like he lived with like he was like a tune and tune, whatever that The movie, I saw it a long time ago. I don't know if it was called Toon Zone or Toon World, wherever the Toons lived, and he interacted with humans, and he was a cop. So this is from the same universe as that. They were on a show together called Raw Toonage, which was basically like a excuse me, a cartoon variety show.
Mhm.
And it was hosted by like a different Disney character every week. One week it was hosted by Sebastian from Little Mermaid. But he does like all kinds of crazy things with his tail. I'm gonna have to send you a picture of him. He's very like Bugs Bunny-esque, like just silly. He's a favorite of mine, but nobody remembers him because they really didn't promote him that much. I don't think his show did that well, but I loved him. That was my homie.
Yeah, definitely don't remember.
I have a keychain here, and then I have a
Where'd you get that
business
from?
Etsy. Etsy is the plug. And this is a business card holder. So I have business cards, but I'm going to get new ones because I have multiple businesses now. And I'm going to have different ones for each business. And I'm going to put them in my little business card holder. So I had to mention, Marsupilami. That's the homie.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Definitely going to have to look that one up. Because it seems so familiar, but it's like, do I really remember that?
It's easy. It's easy to miss. He's not on Disney Plus or anything. They act like he didn't exist, but I remember him. I remember you, Marsupilami.
Okay, shout out to you. Oh man. So my next one I'm gonna have to say, Kevy. Okay, so I know this isn't from the 90s, but I know you mentioned a comfort TV show. So this was my comfort TV show. Well, one of them was a pup named Scooby Doo.
Girl, listen, that is my shit. They had the best music. The chase scenes, they were silly. Oh my
Right?
gosh, I love that show. I love that show.
Yes, yes.
Definitely
I
like
love,
the best. I want to say that that's the best, like the show where they make them kids. Like that's my favorite one.
yeah, for sure. That
Love
was
it.
the best. That's definitely better than Scooby Doo nowadays. And then
Hmm.
when they incorporated Scrappy, that
Yes.
Scrappy was a baller out there just fighting ever. I love Scrappy. I love
Scrappy didn't give no fucks. He was
right.
ready to fight. He was not playing with nobody.
Okay. Okay. Scrappy was me later on in life.
I love it. I love it.
Yes. What's yours?
Let's see, not from the 80s, or excuse me, not from the 90s, but from the 80s. I would have to say I love a pup named Scooby Doo. I might have to say the Snorks. That's the only thing I can think of right now. Do you remember the Snorks?
No. What was that?
So the Snorks was the underwater version of the Smurfs. I never was really big on the Smurfs. The Smurfs were like communists to me. It was very weird to me. I'm not trying to brag or anything on myself, but I was just too woke for my own good. I was like, this is not giving what it's supposed to give for me.
What? Right. I've
But this
never heard a child describe the
I
Smurf.
know, right? I don't know why that was my thought process. Because remember in a previous episode we talked about Aaliyah and R. Kelly. I couldn't listen to it because it just made me feel weird. But so the Snorks were just this underwater tribe of they look like the Smurfs, but they literally have like snorkels on their head. And the theme song is lit. I love the Snorks. That's one of my favorites from the 80s.
Hmm.
Oh, I know one. I know one quite. This is even bigger than the Snorks. Muppet Babies.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Muppet
Muppet
Babies was
Babies.
dope.
Yes. I
Exactly.
remember when it came on Nick Jr.
Mm-hmm. And they
Yes.
kind of revamped it.
Yes.
Yeah, I do
Yes.
remember that. That was dope. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy's a boss. She don't play. She don't play about her man Kermit.
Oh, even as a baby.
Okay, she was letting them know. She's like, I'm not the one.
Right, right. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, so I have one more. So it's the baby from Dinosaurs. Not
Okay.
the mama.
Okay. I think I remember that. Is that the live action one where he has like the yellow shirt?
Yep.
Okay, yes. I
Yep.
remember that show. I
The
could never remember what it was called, but I definitely remember that show. I used to have that character as a doll, It was like one of those pull string dolls.
Okay.
I wore that thing out. That voice box went dead.
I always wanted one.
I
I
got
really
mine. I remember getting it at Big Lots. I would never forget it. I was like, I have to have that.
Okay, man. So
Yes.
this vintage store that I follow on Instagram, they have one for sale. And I was thinking about making a
Ooh.
purchase.
Ooh. Yeah, I get all kinds of vintage stuff, obviously, as you can see. I
Mm,
love it. Ooh, I
me
have all
too.
kinds of like Doug stickers that I'm never gonna open or use. I'm just collecting them. I have like Doug Valentines. I have all kinds of stuff.
Oh wow. Yeah, I need to get hip. I need to have like a whole Nickelodeon room.
Yes, that's what I
You
plan
ever
to do
see
with
my
my
Nickelodeon Christmas tree?
no.
One year I did all Nickelodeon. I had like Doug ornaments, Rugrats, Cat Dog.
Oh
Then
my
I had the little
gosh.
slime, little splats on there. It was so cute.
Ooh. Ooh. That's what I'm planning on decorating my studio in, just nostalgic stuff when I
Absolutely.
move back home. I love it. So I
Shout out
definitely
to
have to
Abby's art on Instagram. I don't know if you follow her or not, but
Abby's
she
art.
is so dope. She is a nostalgic artist, and like she
Okay.
has this nostalgic room of just like all
Ooh.
different types of stuff, from her paintings to like little collectibles. And I really want something like that.
Yes.
Really do. She's
Yes.
dope. Check her out.
Yes. I'm looking her up right now. So I have to mention just a few people real quick, since you said that was your last one. So a few of these are live action people from the 90s. You
Okay.
know, I gotta say my girl Kim Parker. You know, I gotta mention Kim Parker. I love her. And Nikki Parker. I love them too. I love Brenda from Scary Movie. She is a fool. I love her.
Wow.
She's so funny. And then I have to say the last two that I have are I think more so Nick Cannon's character more than Keenan's character, but I love both of them. The inconvenience store when they were those ghetto people at that
Yes.
I love that skit. And then the last one for me is Courtney from the Amanda Show. And I don't think she's technically from the 90s, but Courtney is a damn fool. I can't stand her. She's so stupid.
Wow.
I I love it. I love it.
Yes. And you know what I recently found out, just to piggyback off of the Kel and Nick Cannon.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that convenience store skit is actually the same store as Kenan and Kel.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I forgot that they worked at the
The
what
grocery
like
store little
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Wow. That
Right?
is so crazy. I remember there was an episode where Christy Knowings was the villain on there, and that episode was so such a mess. It was so funny. Just them playing off of each other had me hollering.
Right? I would love to see like an improv show of them now. Just
Oh
like
my
a
gosh, yes.
reunion improv show of like
Yes.
Kenan and Kel, Christy,
Yes.
like all the OGs from all that. They should do a
Yes.
reunion show.
Yes. Yes.
They still
Yes.
got it.
Yes. Wow, what other characters from the 90s can we talk about? I know there's all kinds out there. Let me look around my room.
I
Do you
mean,
have do you have a favorite Pokemon?
oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Jigglypuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is Vulpix.
Oh,
I
okay.
love Vulpix.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just think she's cute.
I feel the same way about Jigglypuff. Cute and it can sing. I would have
Yes.
definitely kept it as a pet.
Yes. What would life be like if we really had Pokemon in real life? I feel like I would never go outside because some of these Pokemon are
Dangerous.
dangerous.
Yeah. Like you can't walk them on a leash and stuff. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know man. I don't know. And just that whole Pokemon Go era,
Yes. Yes. I
that was getting
remember.
people messed up.
Yes. I
Walking in the
remember when that was a
trees.
big thing.
Yeah.
My little brother was one of them. It's funny. Do you remember the show Fillmore?
No.
Fillmore is from Disney. It's like early 2000s, I would say. It came on Toon Disney that like I don't know where it debuted, but I know that it was coming on Toon Disney like as a rerun. It's basically like a kid's version of like Law and Order. It's really funny. Like they're all on the safety patrol and they're like solving mysteries and I'm like, these kids are doing this in the middle of the day during school. Like, why aren't you in class?
See, okay, I don't know. I want to say that sounds familiar, but I'm not 100% sure. And when I think about like shows like that, I think of like Alex Mack
Yes.
or Lee Jackson.
Yes.
Oh man, there's so many of them. I feel like what's the
Mm-mm.
other one?
I remember, excuse me, I remember the Mystery Files of Shelby Woo. Is that what it was called?
Yep,
Yes, that
I
was a
remember
mystery
that.
show. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wow, wow. And do you remember when Disney was actually Zoog Disney?
Yes.
ZOG?
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
time to be alive, man.
Yes. Yes, girl. Yes. Crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But one of my favorite Disney shows, I would have to say, hold on, I have to look it up to make sure I'm right. I think it was called So Weird.
I remember that show.
So Weird. Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
was.
Mm-hmm. I remember that show.
Loved it. Loved it.
It was like the Disney version of Are You Afraid of the Dark in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
With a little bit of like X Files in there.
Right. It was like more supernatural. I remember that. That's a unlocked memory because I haven't seen that in years. And I didn't watch it a lot because I was afraid of stuff like that. So I didn't really watch it, but I do remember it. I was scared to death of Are You Afraid of the Dark? I couldn't even hear the theme song without freaking out.
What?
That shit used to haunt me in my dreams. Like I would be in my dreams and that song would be playing and I have my eyes closed tight, like, nope, you're not about to get me. Snapping my fingers like, Jesus, wake me up because I'm not doing this.
Yeah, there was definitely some episodes on there that were pretty scary for a kid. And Goosebumps. Goosebumps was pretty scary.
Yes. That one I didn't mess with. I don't remember it. I know what it is. Couldn't tell you because I was not watching that.
No. See, I used to like love to get scared, but when I got scared, I was like over it. So.
See, I never loved to get scared. I was like, no, ma'am, this ain't for me.
Really? So you
I
probably
was a
never been to haunted houses or anything, huh?
I have, and I don't go to them because I fight the people. I've punched the coworkers. No, I didn't work in one. I punched the workers working there because I was like, don't touch me. I'm a child of Jesus. I used to tell them that. I'm God's child. I don't fuck with this. It
Like,
became a
sir,
problem.
you are in the wrong place.
I know, right? I was like, I cannot put myself through this anymore.
uh, Man, I remember one time my dad took me to a glow in the dark haunted house. I
Mm.
was beyond scared. I was scared
Mm-mm.
shitless.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I
God
think
knew
that was
not to
like the
bring
one
that to
that's
my life.
toxic. I think I would never forget that because that shit was so freaky and like psychedelic and shit because it's glowing in the dark and then you still got people jumping out. Yeah. Just take me to the
Mm-mm.
basic one. Just take me to somebody's basement, and I'll just walk.
Baby, just
No,
take me
people
to the
had like the basement
tabernacle. I'm
haunted
not
houses.
mm-mm. No, ma'am. That's not in my ministry.
No, so you never been to haunted hoochie or anything, huh?
Mm-mm.
No, me
Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
neither.
I don't play with that.
Oh my gosh! So Kevin, what are we gonna do when freaking Halloween comes? It's right around the corner.
Listen, we gonna have to pray. I don't know.
I always wanted to do like a Halloween themed, but it's from the one movie Don't Look Under the Bed. Like I want to
Oh,
do the theme. You
I've
never
never
seen
heard
that
of
one? I
that.
think it's a
Mm-mm.
Disney movie. Don't
Mm.
Yeah, Don't Look Under the Bed. I believe that's what it's called.
I'll tell you the one like scary theme thing that I do remember that I did watch because I was a fan is there was an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that had Tia and Tamara in it. And I remember watching that and looking back on it now as an adult, it really wasn't that bad. But as a child, that messed me up. Like that freaked me out because it, like, if you remember the episode, it's almost like the good one lost. Like it almost, they almost made it look like she died. Like because she was put down the well or something. I can't remember if she was put down the well or if she was put down the what do you call it in the sink, the garbage disposal.
Mm.
um but I mean it was well written, like it was interesting, but that's the only like that's the only scary themed thing that I've been able to watch because I'm a fan of Tia and Tamara, so I just wanted to see their acting, but other than that I'm just like mm-mm.
Yeah. There was a one episode where there was like a tall guy in like all black. Uh, gosh. It was
Hmm,
pretty scary.
there are
Why don't
some
you send
really
it to me? I
freaky
know you're not going to look
episodes.
at it, but
No,
yeah.
I mean I remember them, like I did watch it as a child. I remember there was this one about this family was trapped in the mirror in the walls of a house or some shit. And like they were getting people, like they were trying to get people to get them out so that and the only way for them to escape is to transfer. Like somebody had to take their place. So somebody ends up getting stuck in there. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm 5 years old. I was like, no, this is a
Wow.
problem.
Damn, I missed that one. That sounds like some American Horror Story type shit.
Okay. I
Do
was
you
like, they're
watch
trying to
American Horror
traumatize
Story?
us. Hell no. Couldn't tell you anything about it. All I know is Angela Bassett was in it. That's all I know.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of that, they have a new series out on American Horror Story. I'm gonna have to check out.
You're gonna have to check it out. I won't be.
Don't worry, I'll tell you about it. Well, guys, we gotta wrap things up as usual. Kevin, it's always a great time talking to you, man.
Absolutely, guys. Check us out on the next episode. Please follow us at 80s, 90s, and 2000s vibes. Follow Quay at Quay Morgan Hill and follow me at Kevy the Dreamer.
All right, until next time. Love you. Mwah.
See y'all later.